Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we are taking a look at a brand new Civivi that dropped today. And this one is a little different because this one right here has two different features to it that I don't think any Civivi has ever had, to the best of my knowledge. And pretty cool thing here. What we are talking about is none other than the Civivi Stormhowl. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 7.64 inches, a blade length of 3.3 inches, and a blade thickness at a rather thin 100 thousandths blade stock with a blade material of Nitro V and a clip point style blade with a nice thin and slicey flat grind. A handle length coming in at 4.34 inches, and a handle thickness right at 470 thousandths. Handle material on this guy is aluminum, which you don't always see on Civivis. I feel like more times than not, it's either micarta or G10 or some type of like maybe pressed carbon fiber. But I definitely don't hate this, and I will tell you why when we get to that handle portion of the review. We have a button lock for the locking mechanism and a user of a right hand or left hand tip up carry, and a pretty good looking clip on there. We have a user, or I already just told you that. We have a weight of 3.04 ounces. This is an in-house Civivi design, which is, I kind of expected that. Civivi does some collabs, but I feel like more times than not, again, they are an in-house design. They do great jobs with the in-house design, but I got kind of some Vox vibes with this. I'm trying to think. I feel like this reminds me of some type of Vox design that I've seen before. It's not. He's not associated with this in any way, shape, or form, but I couldn't help but think that. We have a price coming in at $74.80, which is pretty darn good for a Civivi. Size comparisons. Let's take a look and put them up with some other popular Civivis. I got two really good ones right here that I think will answer all the questions for you in terms of size. This is the Civivi Cogent, and really the Cogent is like the odds-on favorite to be probably the best comparison with this knife, especially being a Civivi. I definitely get some Cogent vibes between these two, obviously very different in terms of materials and all that. But yeah, clip point blades, very button locks, very similar things, as well as the Civivi Sikoke. And let's also throw two more on there in case maybe you don't have a lot of Civivis. Maybe you have Kaisers. This is the Kaiser Escort. Also a pretty decent size comparison, as well as this guy right here, the Vosteed Raccoon. Wow. I think that's the first time I've ever had trouble remembering the name of the raccoon, but also two very good size comparisons as well. And now let's talk about this guy because, like I said, there are two new features to a Civivi knife that I have never seen on a Civivi before. And it does start with this blade, and it starts with what you're looking at right here. A two-tone blade. We have a black wash on the grind and satin flats, and I think it looks really nice. But I cannot remember a Civivi ever having a two-tone blade finish. I can remember Wii's, of course, Wii's should, for what you pay for them, they should have all of those extra things. But to my recollection, Civivi blades have always just been black washed or black coated or stone washed or satin. Never been a mixture of two, so really like seeing that. And I really like this blade in general. Nice and slicey, 16 thousandths behind the edge. You should probably know that by now. All Civivis have a pretty impressive grinds. Nice slicey tip up here. And finger choil that is okay. It's more of like a partial finger choil, so if you're someone that really likes the full finger choils, this probably may not be for you, but it is big enough to get your index finger up there for more of like maybe the precision cuts or something type of like an index and thumb pinch, something like that. But I definitely wouldn't go placing my whole index up there. That would not work out very well for you, unless you like wearing Band-Aids. And right up here, we have more perfect jimping on the spine, as well as perfect jimping on the flipper tab. This does not get any better in terms of jimping. And just to clarify the name of this guy, this is the Stormhowl, not the Stormowl. Not a hoo-hoo, more like a ow! Yeah, you're welcome for that. I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page there. Going into the handle here, this is where we have another first. We have this milled texture on here that is really, really good. I can't think of any other Civivi that has ever had milling to this extent on it. I mean, maybe there was like a line somewhere or a little accent, but this is more like a milled texture, which is more machine time, which should usually equate to more money. But yeah, this 7480 is pretty standard for a Civivi. So I like that a whole lot. We have kind of like this pommel here at the end. I definitely wouldn't consider it a glass breaker, but when you're holding this knife in hand, it does come a little below the hand, so it could be that that pommel you need for any type of pommeling, I guess. We have a very nice recessed clip, fully recessed all the way, and I would probably consider that it's definitely totally deep carry. I wouldn't call it ultra deep carry. I kind of feel like ultra deep carry, the clip has to be past the handle, and you're really not. The handle is just above that clip, but it is true deep carry all the way. And I really like the fact that they got rid of that extra little hole there in the clip. I think I've said that before, but just really looks a lot nicer on the knives in my opinion. And that fully recessed area there is very, very nice. And to have it on the side for the lefties too, that's also a very good thing. You also have a lanyard standoff back here for anyone that likes to put lanyards on your knives. You got that right there. So I always like seeing the standoffs as opposed to the lanyard holes. So good job there, Civivi. And then this right here, the action. Yeah, let's talk about the action, because there's really nothing new to say, but it again just reaffirms what I've said before in terms of consistency and just absolutely nailing a button lock. There's no one doing it better than Civivi. There really isn't. And now the one thing you kind of run into is just how good send cuts are, because this, I can't say this is better than a send cut in terms of action, which it shouldn't be. They're both made in the same place. But again, the big difference here is the extra features you get. The two-tone blade up here that looks good. The milling on the handle. I mean, you'll never see this on a send cut, or at least, well, I don't know. Never say never. But definitely where the extra cost is here is in the two-tone finish and the milling on the blade. And it feels really good in hand. It still kind of gives me that little bit of a Vox presence. I really like that about this knife. You guys probably know I still like Vox just as much as I always have. But yeah, this has just a really nice, more tactical presence to it. A very nice vibe from Civivi, and something that's new. Something that you have never seen from Civivi, and you've seen a lot of really good things from Civivi. So I really like the fact that we're getting the new elements of design and new features coming in, because that's one of the things that I have really started to ask myself for 2024. What are we going to see? What are we going to see new? Because especially the big four, Civivi, Kaiser, CGRB, Vosteed, they all crushed it last year. They knocked it out of the park. What are they going to do this year to set themselves above the rest? And I think Civivi just threw the first haymaker here with the Stormhowl. I don't know if I would put it in like my top 10 favorite Civivis. Civivi has so many stinking good knives. I'd really have to sit down and take a look at everything, but I really do like this. It has everything I look for. It has good ergos, really nice ergos, nice slicey blade, and also just as important as all that, it looks good. I'm not going to carry on something that looks like a turd. I think this looks awesome. Very nice, tactical, aggressive design, but nothing too out there or too crazy. The one thing that I would like to see change, and I'm going to say it again, is I really wish, like especially on this model, you have the satin Civivi C here. What that does, and I want to explain this to people so people don't keep getting tired of it, but I want to put the reasoning in behind this, because what you have here is all these lines here. I don't know if they're really, yeah, they are basically a satin topped lines coming along the handle. And with the satin C, it kind of throws off the aesthetics, or all the straight lines going in the same way. It gives it a certain vibe, a certain look to it that just looks really good and uniform. But when you put that C in there with the satin C and the satin pivot right around the C, it kind of interrupts that. But if it was black, if you look back here where you have the black screws and the black milled area for the pocket clip, that looks, I think that looks better down here than it does up here, and you have a black button. So it just would make a lot of sense to me to black out that C. I think it would look better. I really honestly do, and I'm going to keep saying it because that's also one of the things that I think Civivi could do that maybe put them ahead of the competition is little things like that. Little things. But they actually did a couple really big things here with the two-tone blade and the milling on the handle. And, of course, they keep bringing the excellent action on the button locks, even though I botched that there. Really, really good offering from Civivi. There's still a whole year left, guys. Who knows what else they're going to stir up. But as for this model right here, the Stormhowl, this is a very, very nice knife. Let me know what you guys think of this one. There are other options. I believe there's 4 options total. So, yeah, not a disappointment by any stretch of the imagination. Very strong offering from Civivi to start the year off with 2 new features. Gotta love it. Let me know what you guys think of the Stormhowl. I hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.